Hi everyone, it's me, Ada here. I just had we just had a Chinese story time on the Facebook Live. Since we have a lot of follower and also parents are join this our Facebook page. They are non-Mandarin speaker. I think it's necessary for me to use English to explain and introduce our page again, our story time. So Chinese story time. I created this organization. It's a nonprofit organization. It's called a Chinese Storybook Chinese International Chinese Story Time. So this is a nonprofit, and we do this just want to get more people to telling the story in Mandarin to our little ones, especially those Chinese kids that they live in overseas. Difficult. The parents that speak Mandarin, and then but they grew up in the English environment. There's no Mandarin kind of environment, so it's really difficult for them to speak a foreign language in this kind of foreign country. So that's why that's what we do, and we tell stories, and we get together all the parents and kids once a week. That before coronavirus hit, and we do that once a week in library, and sometimes we do outdoors. It depends. I always have to find a spot. Either some sponsor give us place like a Lifetime. Really appreciate those sponsors, and then we used to went to several different places, and then and landed to the library, which is really nice. Eldorado Hills Library help us and set up the place, and then we able to tell stories for our little ones. And basically the parents volunteered to join us and also gave stories as well. So that's really nice. But the coronavirus hit, and then everything shut down, and it's kind of really difficult for us to get together. And recently I've been talking to several places. They still not allow to people gathered indoors, so which is really understandable, because now safety is the first important. So that's why we decided to switch to online and do this Facebook Live story once a week from now. So hopefully in the future we have more people volunteer to give a story, so that our kids can join us as well. If the kids, older kids, can also, we encourage them to tell stories to their younger siblings. So yeah, so this is what we're going to do. So let me talk about a little bit about our story time background. So the Chinese how the Chinese storybook come from. So years ago I moved to America, and we lived in a small town in Middle West, and my kids born here, so I took them several times to China, but it's really kind of difficult for them to understand why their mom doesn't speak. At that time my English was still, I know I still speak not very advanced. Sometimes I do have a lot of vocabulary I don't know how to see, and I also have a strong accent. So that's why my kids has a little questions. And then when my older son was 3 or 4 years old, and he started to have a lot of questions. Mom, why you speak different language? He doesn't really know the language, because when I talk to my friends, and then some Chinese community event, we go to some Chinese New Year gathering. So he realized that mom speak differently than other Americans. And also I cook a lot of Chinese food. I'm not a very good cook, so I didn't really cook too much authentic Chinese food, but it's different than the Western food. So my kids start to have a lot of questions to me, and then I decided, why don't I tell him a story? Because I tell him that I told him that mom is from different country and which is far away, and then I started to point at the map and take out the map and tell him that where my country is look like and how far away. And those kind of questions really kind of make my son very curious, and he wanted to know more and more, and I decided to maybe start to read books. So I read a lot of Chinese books to him when he was little. But that time my second boy were just born, not very long, so he was just basically infant. He didn't really react or interact with my older son. So I thought that this is there's no such a environment that I want to create a more environment to let him to learn more or able to talk more. So he have a little some play friends, playmate. So we were gathering together whose parents are also speaking Mandarin. So sometimes we will play together and we speak Mandarin, and then my boy started to pick up a lot of words, and then he started to also speak Mandarin. So I thought this is nice. It's actually a better way to teach him Mandarin by playing with other kids. So then then I decided to after talk to a bunch of friends, and they also have the same kind of demand, wants to encourage their kids to speak Mandarin. So since we are living in a foreign country, and we sometimes we do miss our language, our food, so that's how we get to decided to put a story time together. That time we also go to a library once a week. So we didn't really have a large group, maybe just 10 or sometimes less. So no matter how many people join us every week, we are just get together, and we each bring some books to share, because every household has different books, and then some family from different country also speak Mandarin, like Singapore or some other country. So they have a different culture as well, and also different books. So we decided, why don't we put them together, and then each time, like parents take turns to tell different stories, and so the kids can get to learn more. That's how we end up have that story time, which we didn't call it Chinese storybook. So we just randomly get together, just do the story time. So which is really nice. It has a lot of great memory, and kids play the games that we played when we were young, and they sing songs, and then we watch movies together, the small like YouTube Chinese songs together. So it's really kind of fun. And also kids get to have a play with other friends in the same like language. So but later we moved to a different city. So in the new city, I was looking for if there's same bunch of a group of people are doing the story time, but I couldn't really find one like what we did. Then I decided to talk to one of my friends, Jen, and we were talking about why don't we maybe start one. Then we decided to create a new one in the new city, and then I found a lot of interesting stories, and also many parents are want to join us. Then I start to organize this, since I really enjoy organized events, because I used to work for a company that I do a lot of events and activities, so which is it's not very difficult for me. So then I decided to organize it and then start it, and then we do that. We didn't really have a place, like we don't have a specific space, or so since sometimes our events is larger and we have hundreds people join us, so it's not a very ideal way to like go to different people's household. And also I talked to that time I talked to a lot of places. Just difficult to find a large area to fit all the kids. Then luckily I found some sponsors like a Lifetime and some children's play center, and then they sponsor us a spot. We do that once a week, and that's how we getting more and more people interested. And then I think we need more books and we need more activities in order to keep those kids busy and interested to keep coming. Then we start to accept the donation, and then first start to donate. People start donate some books, and some people start to donate money so we can buy books. And I also found some sponsors, which like Chinese online tutoring program or Chinese learning program. They are happy to sponsor us some books, and that way we getting to have a more resource. And then I found that this is but we were not really a organization really, so I don't know how to handle those donations. Then I decided to maybe we should just create a non-profit organization. In the 2018, the end of 2018, we created a non-profit organization called International Chinese Storybook. So that's so that now we are legally a non-profit organization. We can accept donations. So if you are interested or willing to help us or support our little group, and please feel free to reach out to me, and we will bring more resource in, and hopefully we can help more kids. And in the future, maybe we can also to get connected to some kids in China, and then we do like a cultural language exchange, something like that. So this is the story about the Chinese storybook. So so now in the future we're going to do more of this kind of online storytelling, and we also have our YouTube channel. So if you or your kids are interested to tell story, and just feel free to reach out to us, and then we are very happy to give your kids a opportunity also speak or tell stories as well. Thank you so much for turning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.